Hello everyone, it is Christine here and I am back to finally do some more work on my treasure hunt project for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. So I've made a whole lot of pieces. I've got some partially completed pieces, I've got additional pieces to add as I brought this away as a holiday project, partially because I have a huge dining table that I can commandeer during the days quite easily here. And it's a very good size to hold this piece, which is a huge blanket slash quilt piece, and also because it's a really good opportunity to have a bit more time to be able to really get this project ticking along. I've got a plan for this project which has a bit of a deadline associated with it, so I'm hoping to make some really good progress. So today I thought I'd give you an update on the project, show you the work in progress pieces, go through what I have brought away to potentially add to this piece, and how I'm going to be approaching it a little bit differently from what I was originally thinking, as well in terms of the size and the space that I'm going to be covering. I've had some folks also keen to know what else I have brought away with me, so I've set myself up a little wooden trolley here which they had in the kitchen, so I've commandeered that as well for my stitchy supplies, and I can give you a look at that, and then we can spend a bit of time looking at the piece and I can give you an update on it as well. So I might show you my little trolley first up and then we'll come back to the piece on the table. So this is my little trolley that I have set up. I shouldn't have left this so messily at the front. Let's just pop it in the bowl. So I've got some crochet yarns, including some I'm using for the blossom piece for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. I've got a jar of yo-yos. It's like a lolly jar. I've put my own handmade yo-yo on the top of it. I've got a jar of silk ribbons, lots of loose ones, and then some rolls of some greens, and I think there's a ready one in there as well. I've got some French laundry labels. I've got some wools in all different colours. I've got variegated threads because I love these, plus some additional variegated and a regular sort of vintage crochet yarn. I've got an assortment of needles. I've got some buttons, but they can actually go in with my buttons over on the table, I think. And then I've got some mixed little containers of beads. I won't open these up with one hand because I know exactly what's going to happen. So I've just got a mix of beads in those two. I've got some gold sequins. Got my good scissors. I've got some additional milliners and chenille needles. Got my Yoo-hoo glue, and I've got some additional spare ones as well. And then I've got my regular sewing yarns in my little caddy that I've had a previous video where I've shown you how you can turn a pot mitt, a second-hand pot mitt, into a caddy. And then I've got these beautiful Brazilian embroidery threads which I've brought away as well because I thought they might be nice to add into some projects. So that's sort of my basic little, and then I've got my other scissors, and I had another pair as well, but I think they're over on the bench. So let me bring you around and give you a bit of a view of the treasure hunt piece. So this piece was inspired by the Roxy Treasure Hunt project, where they were giving us prompts every 2 weeks, I think that was as well. Or was it no, I think it was every 2 weeks. But it happened that around the start of the project, we were around at Alex's parents' house, and they'd been cleaning out their basement, and Alex's mum had a whole lot of fabrics that she shared with me. But then it also turned out, I think we were just standing in the kitchen, and I can't remember whether Max or Ellie, so whether Alex's brother or sister-in-law, came in and said, oh, they're about to throw out this blanket. It's the blanket that Betty, Alex's mum, brought out from Hungary after the war. So it travelled with her all the way as she fled Budapest, under gunshot essentially ringing out as they waded across a river, and then headed to essentially an immigration camp before they were eventually accepted to travel to Australia. So it travelled all the way with her and has been with her ever since, but they were about to put it out on hard rubbish collection to be taken away and taken to the tip. So I was just so lucky that we were around there on that Sunday, and I could not let something with so much history go, and particularly when I saw that it had a monogram that Betty, Elizabetta, and her surname, so that's the way they do the surname and then the first name in reverse. And Betty had actually monogrammed this on herself, put the stitchery in to put it on herself. So incredibly special, very neatly done as well, so it mostly hasn't come through to the other side of the blanket. So I wanted to have the blanket as the feature for my treasure hunt, because we had the prompt of the monogram, but I just thought, wouldn't it be lovely to weave family history into the treasure hunt? So not just honour beautiful things that I had in my collection, so beautiful laces and buttons, but also to honour my family and my memories and my thoughts. And so that's what I'm doing in this piece. It's very much a family blanket, a family quilt. So in my mind, it sort of started as a blanket, and then I was thinking, oh, do I want to have the colours of the blanket as my background? But I thought they were possibly not what I wanted to totally play up. I didn't want to just obscure the blanket either, so I ended up covering the blanket with a lace, so a lace tablecloth or something like that. And I think this was half of a tablecloth. And overlapped it at some point. I can't actually even see exactly where I did the overlapping. And I wanted to still have the blanket showing through, but not have it so in your face. And then I proceeded to just work on individual, with each of the prompts that we got with Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, individual sections that are inspired by the prompt, but then inspired by my family. So both my blood side, but also Alex's family as well, and then our family that we've created together. So the lovely Travis has his own panel, which I actually haven't brought with me, but I do have another video on that, so I'll aim to link that, where I did an amazing thread painting on a beautiful piece of fabric that the lovely Robin sent to me, because she saw that I was working on this project and hadn't seen something being created for Travis, so she thought that he needed pride of place in the project. So I had a lovely time thread painting that. So in this corner we start with the section which has the monogram from Betty, which I've cut a piece of fabric and put a heart with a braid around it. And the piece of fabric's significant as well, because Alex's family are from Italy on his dad's side, and his brother is a winemaker. So this is sort of in honour of Max and Max's partner, Ellie. She's very much involved in the winemaking too. And I've kept the Italian theme going as well with this little panel down here, part of a sort of a tapestry panel, and it's got Vin. I think Vindicosa, no, I'm not sure exactly what that says on it. And then these buckles, which would have been from a belt, Betty, Alex's mum, gave them to me, so I put them there because they almost look like sort of family insignia as well. And then I've got the butterfly here, which is a beautiful old, very, very old bit of handiwork. I've never even actually washed this to try and get the little sort of markings or stains out of it. And then I've stitched freedom between where this piece and the next piece up is. And I've got these butterflies, which I still need to sort of fully stitch down. I think that one I've stitched down, but these ones still need to be fully stitched. Then I've got a piece that's inspired by my grandparents, particularly my nana and my grandpa. And it's a quote from Rumi, which is, "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there." So I've stitched that in. It's got lots of beautiful buttons from my nana on here, as well as some other collected buttons. It's got some woven buttons that I have made as well. I've got a video on how to make those. I've just forgotten, they've just gone out of my head. Dorset buttons, what they're called. And so that's an incredibly special piece, and that was an original doily. I think I actually got this doily when I was previously here in Bright, but then I've added my own stitching onto it, so you can't even quite tell, hopefully, exactly where my stitching and the original embroidery actually was. I've got a monogram with the letter of my name, so a C. And then I've done extra sort of, wherever I add something on, just thinking how I can do extra stitching. I've added some of my most treasured laces. I had a lovely time down here doing lots of thread painting with wools and beautiful yarn. I just love doing the leaf and the flowers. I think I'm going to leave this one at the top unthread painted, because I kind of like the contrast between the knowing what it looks like when it's thread painted but knowing what it started as. Then we've got a little chook, and that's in honour of my mum, and I've got another chook panel further over which I will show you. And then I've just got little scraps and putting some of my nice buttons, for example, on it. The next panel is in honour of my dad, who was a beekeeper when I was growing up in his spare time. Eventually he actually got very allergic to bees, but I do fondly remember his beautiful honey and him really looking after the hive. This is a panel that I'd actually worked on a while ago, and funnily enough, so I'm filming this in bright, and I think I'm sure I found this half finished piece, which was just this piece, and it had only been partially stitched at the op shop here in bright. So it seems that we're in a bit of a bright mode, and even the shirt I'm wearing today is a shirt that I found in the op shop up here. So this next one is a panel, and I haven't stitched this down yet, it's just sort of pinned in place while I work out placement. It's a piece that I created using a little, I think it was a little pop bitch that someone had made, and I'm pretty sure I found it in Malakuta, so another regional area. It had a cute little chook on it, and then I've stitched a quote from my mum. Growing up, she always had her chooks, and they were her treasured chooks, and she'd say, "I'm going down to see my girls," because she would call them her girls. So I put that quote on on the little chook, and just for fun I put a little prize winning ribbon, just using a Suffolk puff and some ribbon and a button. And then my mum's a keen gardener, so I'm planning on having this surrounded by quite a few flowers and things and laces and other things. But I've got this beautiful piece of like a stained glass fabric, and growing up mum dabbled in various arts and crafts, and I remember her doing stained glass at one stage as well. Then we move across to a panel honouring my grandpa on my dad's side, so Reg Oakley, and I put the quote, "Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning we will remember them." And then I've put some military buttons and military type looking buttons, some old cufflinks that I had with a button stash that I got on a piece of hessian, just to kind of make that that memory piece, and using some more muted tones but still sort of florals there. And then coming up into a piece inspired by my granny on my dad's side. So this is her old watch. I'm not sure whether this will stay in the final piece. At the moment it's just stitched down and held in place. I may end up, for the purpose I'm wanting to use this for, putting on a photo or putting something else in place there. The buttons will stay, possibly these two brooches might move off as well. This is a little Scotty dog brooch. She always had little Scotty dogs, so Lassie and a few others. I think she had one called Scout at one stage as well. And we used to go round on a Friday night and sort of, sit in her lounge room. I remember she always had 4 jars with like TikTok biscuits in them, Ched's biscuits, wafer biscuits. I can't even think what the 4th one would be, but she always had a good stash of yummy biscuits that we could help ourselves to. With the piece for my grandpa, this one's not stitched down. But these are just beautiful little dimensional poppies, which I think I've shown in a previous video how to make those. Sorry, I'm walking around. This is a piece of a fabric that looks like a vintage sampler, and some folks have suggested I should do some of my own little stitches into it as well. But I've got it so that it's actually underneath the lace layer, and I've just cut some sections so it can just peek through the lace layer, which I think is a lot of fun. So they are the oh sorry, no, not all the pieces yet. So travelling up here, this is a piece inspired partially by my nana, who was a seamstress. So I've got my nana piece over here and then extending over here. and with these vintage cotton rolls, which I've just sort of stitched in place. And then a piece about me as well, which is all about creating and stitching and sewing. So it's got some vintage, little vintage sort of prints, an old button on a little card, an old set of fasteners. Again, just beautiful buttons, stitching into it, some other embellishments that I still need to stitch down. Nana did a bit of patchworking, so I put that there, a bit of trim, the scissors, a brooch. Again, I might end up moving that off. Down here I've got a button that I found again in the Bright Op shop up here a while ago, and it's got an ANC on it, so Alex and Christine, which I've centered in one of these little sort of curtain pulls. This is a tiny little brooch that I've done a shisha stitch around. I got this, I think, at the Berlin Museum. It was one of their sort of archaeological, I think it was like almost like a tiled fresco. And I just loved this little creature, but it reminds me a bit of Travis as well, so that's why I've put that one there. This project has just been so lovely to have a place to either put things or to plan to add things to it. I've got a little bird down here. Again, this is out of the, am I going to be able to remember, Kath Holden Fabrics, or Kathy, however it is pronounced. And then just adding beautiful laces. This is part of a collar lace. This is a piece of Joie de Vivre, so the joy of life. This is one I stitched as part of the project with one of my little hexie flowers, and the burgundy bonheur fabric, which is what actually inspired the colour theme for this piece, which is all about burgundy, greens and golds, and possibly a few other bits and pieces thrown in, but trying to really sort of stick to that colour theme to give it some unity. So it does go, let me just actually step back, but hopefully not back into the chair. So it's a very large blanket, and at the moment I've only got the bottom half of it covered with lace. I've actually got some lace in the dryer right now, which is half of a tablecloth cut in half from the Bright Op shop. It's a round tablecloth, and I'm planning to use that on the upper section. I've given it a very quick tea dye just to take it from white to a slightly off-white, so it goes well with this. But virtually most of the lace underneath will end up sort of being covered, but I still want to have it looking good. So originally when I was doing this, I was planning to just have this bottom section covered, and then have the other section just sitting over the front of a couch uncovered and not decorated up. I'm now planning to do it as a full blanket / quilt, and to have both sides of it quilted by hand with stitching into it and embellishments on it. On the back, I'm thinking of having fabrics in a coordinating colour, or possibly the laces, but then having some printouts onto fabric, now that I can do that, of our family history as well. So I have things like when Betty arrived in Australia, I've been able to find the arrival documents of her family. I've got that for Alex's dad as well, for Silvano, and we've actually got the chest at home that they were going to be throwing out at the same time, and that's the chest that they brought out from Italy when Alex's dad travelled out. And then I've been able to find for my grandparents, like where my grandpa enrolled to serve in the war. They did, like, there was a whole file that, and so it's got his photo, it's got a letter of recommendation from his employer at the time. I found my granny on my dad's side was in the sort of women's, essentially the women's war support, basically, serving as well. So I've got her photo from that time. So I'm just thinking I will add those things on as well. So let me just bring a chair over. And I will sit myself down here. Actually, I might need to sit myself up here because that's where my stand is. Well, I can do that actually. I'll bring the stand down. I'll pop you into the stand. And we'll just need to angle ourselves up a bit. And then I thought I would show you what sort of supplies I have got and some of the other panels that will be going onto the piece. So I'll start with a piece that I developed for my grandpa. So my grandpa on my mum's side was a carpenter, and one of the things he would say, measure twice, cut once. So Wilf Clark. So I've got this measuring tape. I've got his actual original measuring tape. I'm never going to cut into that. This was one that I'd found online, which I use in other parts of it as well. You might have seen it up on the other creating panel that I showed before. But I just love this. It's all sort of rusted and it's the end of the measuring tape. I've got a little heart-shaped leaf in here because he was a king gardener as well, and when I found that little leaf I thought, oh, isn't that lovely? I've got a feather because feathers always remind me of those that have departed us but that stay near us. And I so very often think of my nana and grandpa. They were very, very good people, very kind people, very generous people. So yeah, I often think of them and think, what would they do in a situation? A key, because I've got a beautiful box of keys from my grandpa, and this is one of the ones out of there. I love that it's got a little heart in it as well. Some buttons, just because Nana was a seamstress, so I thought they were lovely. And this wooden button because he was a carpenter. And then this fabric has these numbers on it, so I thought that was a great fit as well. So I think that panel will be going up near my Nana's panel, and then I've got these other little ones from the Kath Holden fabric. This one's like well, it's more a clothes and fine goods. This one is a lumber co, so I thought that would be great. And there might be another one somewhere else, but not immediately appearing to me. This one I might put near, it reminds me a bit of windows, and I'm thinking being a carpenter you would have worked on windows. It's just a little practice scrap where someone has been doing this work. It's just popped out of my head what this type of stitching is called. But that can probably go with Grandpa's little panel. I think as part of that Roxy project we also had a prompt. This has been sitting in a hoop, so I need to give it an iron flat. But it has a quote on it in French, because I have spent a lot of time in France and really enjoyed travelling around France. And it's petit à petit, l'oiseau fait son nid. And it's little by little the bird builds its nest. And I've been doing some thread painting into this piece. You'll see there's lots of thread painting on this bird, doing little feathers. So I've got to finish off doing that, probably do some stitching down on this one too. And then this panel can go somewhere on it, on here as well. And because I love birds, I think that can be another little panel for myself. This is a piece I need to add down near the Italian section, I think, or possibly next to where the monogram section is. It's a little fabric called Italian Sketchbook. That was the selvage edge, sort of semi cut off, but it's got this beautiful sort of Tuscan Italian landscape on it. So I sewed it into a little sketchbook essentially. So I thought that could go down on the page so it can still be opened up. So that will be stitched down. I've got the monogram that I did for myself. So it's got my initials, C, and then J. I did a reverse of the J as well for symmetry, and then O in the middle. So it's stitched with a burgundy and then outlined with gold thread, and it's on this lovely piece of toile. So that will probably go up near the creating section, sort of near my section. This will probably go down, I think, with my mum's area for the garden section near where the chook is. So I might just lay that over there. You would have seen in my recent haul from Melanie from Purveyor of Reclaimed Textiles, I got this lovely fabric with deers and mountains on it. So because there are deer around here, not deers, deer, around here, I thought, and because we're in the mountains, and this is an area which Alex really loves, Alpine Victoria, I thought I might put a section of this on for Alex as well, because it's sort of that nature, it's got that sense of mountains, so I thought that could be perfect, and it's just the right colour tone. So that would be one that I would need to sort of, stitch onto the blanket. The blanket's really lovely to stitch through, so that is a good thing. So I'll pop that up there. These are just some other bits that might make it on, or in some form. This is a lovely piece of patchwork. So again, I might put that near my Nana's section, so it's a patchwork printed on fabric, but I'm thinking I can then do some stitching into it so it actually looks like a patchwork. But I think the colours are pretty good for the project. This is a little second-hand little card, I think from 1989, W.M. Saunders. So I think I got this from Purveyor of Reclaimed Textiles, but I'm thinking I will put this on the piece. I might need to make a little, I probably won't put it on with the cardboard. It's just, oops, it's, yeah, sort of stuck onto a piece of cardboard, but I think it'd be lovely to add it into this piece. My uncle, yeah, has a farm, so I thought that could be a nice little piece for my uncle. Then we get to my brother and sister-in-law and their kids. They have become very horse crazy, and I managed to find this lovely, I can't remember where I found this one, this beautiful horse doily. It might have even been at the Embroiderers Guild D-Stash, I can't remember. But I just think this would be, yeah, lovely to add on, even though it's got the pink and the blue flowers, which aren't really sort of as fitting with the piece. I think that will be just fine. So that will be for them. And then I've got some other horsey related stuff as well. Then I've got this piece, which I got at the op shop today here in Bright, and it reminds me of India, which is where my Nana and Grandpa went and moved there for a period of time to help build a multi-faith centre. So it's got an elephant and sort of Indian style vegetation and these beautiful birds. So I thought that might go on this piece as well. No shortage of things to go on, I don't think. At the Embroiderers Guild D-Stash, I picked up some of these panels as well that I thought could be fun if I'm needing something to fill space. Fruits, that kind of reminds me of our Christmases when we normally have a big full bowl of beautiful fruits to share. Got this home sweet home again. It's got that sort of rural feel about it. Maybe not the ones more with the blue, so that one I might not do. I do like the sort of sampler effect, but whether I do that one, this one's probably very good colouring. Can you hear Travis tapping around? And so that's got a lovely little dog in it, so that might be kind of cute to add that one. This one potentially, whether I'd maybe take the border off it, and then that's got lovely colours as well. So they're possibilities for it. Just thinking I might put one of these little, even though it's slightly more cherry coloured, I thought I might have one of these little squares of a cherry. Again, maybe with that little fruity scene. Travis has come over to see us. He's come to give me a little nudge. I got this one. Whoops, dropped something down on the floor. This beautiful love embroidery, isn't it beautiful, cross stitch? So I thought that could go up near my Nana and Grandpa, who were absolute inspirations in how to love and love well. And so yeah, even though it's got the blues, I think I am going to add it onto the piece because it is lovely, and this will be a place where I can treasure it. And there's Travis wandering off again. I've got this little seam. Can't remember if I was planning to put the larger one on. I think I was planning to maybe just put a smaller one like this one on. So yeah, just a very sweet little scene. I thought that could be kind of good maybe over near where the Betty monogram is. I think Alex and Travis are going to go for a walk maybe. I've walked my legs off today. Alex is trying to sneak around, but with Travis tip-tapping, there's no sneaking in this place, is there, Travis? Beautiful piece of just like a little tapestry sample. Isn't it funny? It's called Forest and Bittersweet, but I think it's the perfect colours, so that will probably go in the stash to go onto the piece. This is just a little pot mitt. Again, it looks very handmade and quilted. It's got little mushrooms in a basket, which again reminds me of my uncle and his farm, and years ago we used to get the field mushrooms. I'm very scared of getting mushrooms from the wilds these days. There's just too much of a risk of getting poisoned. Again, this is I think just from a little second-hand placemat that I've got, but it's got fruits and things on it, so that I think will go somewhere on the piece, get all cut around. You might have seen me working on this with some of the beautiful wools I got gifted from UEWE Tube, some lovely ladies over in the US. And so this is the Bonjour panel, which I think does go as well with the sort of the French theme that I've got on this piece. So I need to finish stitching all around that, but I think this will go probably somewhere near the top of the piece. So that one's requiring a bit more stitching work first. And then I've got a whole bag of sort of embellishments and things. I've got some beautiful like vintage trims, this lovely sequiny one flower, which I think might go over with my granny because she always had a bit of glamour about her. So even if I'm moving the watch off, maybe this will go in the place. And then I've got this lovely one. In fact, this could even run down across where the watch is. So that will probably go on. And then I've got things like this, which I'm sure I will end up using somewhere in the piece. I've got two whole big baskets of trims over there, which I'll show you in a moment. Sweet little, I think these come off the little lint bunnies, but we always had bunnies growing up around us as kids. We had so many pets, so I might put this somewhere over near mum and the mum and dad section over here. And then I've got a lot of lovely things from that Kath Holden vintage fabrics. I've got this one with Rawson's Beehive that I thought I'd put near my dad's section. Got that honeycomb, got this little one. So I've got a whole bag of little things for that section, and some other bits and pieces like a zip, this beautiful little bird fabric. So again, that might go. Yep, not sure where that will go, but I'll put that over there. A lovely selvage edge. So I've got all of those. Got some more Kath Holden and some stamped fabrics. All sorts of things have ended up in here. But these will just be lovely little ones when they're the right colour. Like this little horsey one would go really well with the horse theme. That one could go really nice up with the fruits. Just lovely to be able to add them in, even for my mum's section with the garden. Probably don't need the little owls, but yeah, just lots and lots of possibilities. And I brought away, I think, an uncut piece of that Kath Holden fabric as well, in case there's any others that I want to harvest out. Little stamps as well. Then there's some more of the Holden ones. In fact, my granny and grandpa, they used to have birds, lovebirds and other things, so I think I might even put that over near them. And we did have quite a few, but we had cockatoos and all sorts of things growing up as well. So yeah, there's lots of things in there. Another lovely bit of this very vintage lace skerrick, so I'm sure that will, I might put that with the other excuse me, put that with the other laces. Got these beautiful little embellishments, little page embellishments. Got this bee that I will put with my dad's section. That's one of the buttons that I got from the op shop today. You probably won't see that button video until after this one. Not button, but all the finds. I've got this old little, would have been a little tie clip with a horse on it, so I didn't know if I'd put that on. I just have to work out how much I put things that might be sort of a bit sticky out on this piece or not. I've also got like a little op shop found locket, but I thought that might go somewhere. Although again, I just need to be careful with the sort of edge pieces. Yeah, just, and then little bits of, for example, bits of embroidery. They'll end up just being sort of added into the piece where I feel they need them, between the sort of the more major elements. And then I've got a whole lot of lovely embellishments here as well. Some of them I might tea dye also. I've got a whole bag from Pitch Trading of these coffee coloured laces and things. I know some of you don't like the rustling, so I'll try and just get them out and give you a little look at them. Pop that to the side. So these, I think they just hand dye. So some of them are similar motifs that I've got in other colours. I thought that actually opens up, but it's just like that. So I thought these could be really lovely to add to the piece. And I think I think this sort of, yeah, muted colour will be a nice contrast as well. It's even though it's not sort of the goldy colour, I think it will still work pretty well. And it'll just be lovely to add some of these into the piece. Some of them are quite sizable pieces as well. That one's almost more pinky, I think. That's a darker colour. I guess that's the thing when you're dyeing, you never quite know what colours it's going to pick up. Isn't that sweet? So I'm using some of the trims along the base of the piece as well. These are beautiful. I could use those around my sort of mum's gardeny themey piece. Just lovely bits that I'll be able to, yeah, cut into. Isn't that a beautiful brownie colour? And I just love that they're little skerricks, so they will just look like little remnants sort of, yeah, appearing around the pieces. So yeah, no shortage with me of things to, so I should hopefully be able to make some really good progress on this. So I will pop those over here. And then I've brought with me a range of fabrics that I might use, just sort of like sections of. Oh, this one's a lovely, I don't know if I will tea dye it. It's just a beautiful base on which I could, yeah, do something. So I might put that over with my pieces. Again, this is what would have been a placemat, I think, made out of a little embroidery sample. But again, I thought that could be useful if I wanted to maybe have that around my mum's section or something. So I'll pop that over there. I've already used some of this fabric but in a different colourway around my Nana's section, but again it's the perfect, so some of that might feature again. Got some greens and those maroony colours just in this sample from the Reverse Art Truck. This is another Reverse Art Truck sample, so I've just got those if I need them. Some other fabrics that I felt went well with the colourway. This one's like more of a woven sort of fabric, but it's got that sort of Frenchy, yeah, vintage bloom style to it. I love these. This would have just been a fabric sample, but just love these sorts of designs. Probably a little bit more pinky, but even just a section of this would be lovely on here. This was one I got recently from Melanie. So whether I just use some sections of it. Some of this could be really beautiful between some of the other sections. I've got doilies, just beautiful bits of fabric, some lovely toile in the beautiful colours. These are all just wrapped on my card, so I won't unwrap them right now, but I could see myself using some of these in here. Wines and spirits and script, but again I thought those colours went really well. A larger section of maroon, I thought in case I'm wanting backing. This is a fabric sample but of like a felty stuff. Some slinky fabric. This is part, I'll just move these to the left out of the way because we're getting a bit high up for the camera. A beautiful piece of quilt. Got a tree, a gate, flowers. It's really lovely. So possibly that. A scarf, and I thought this could be really nice because you can kind of see through it as well, and it's got the right colours, I think. Piece of Goldie. Again, these are just small bits of fabric, but if I'm wanting to make some Suffolk puffs or add some other elements, that could be good again around my mum's sort of garden scene, so I might put that there. Again, sort of gives me the feeling of patchwork or something. I've got a big roll of this vintage fabric, a bit more of that vintage fabric. Another lovely sort of floral, this one from Moda French General. This one I think I might use in the top right hand corner. Which way up does it go? No, yes. It's a beautiful embroidered on, I think must be machine embroidered surely, but it is really gorgeous. So I think I'd like to have that in the top right, so I might put that over there. This one, I think I got that recently as well from Mel. So not all of these will make it in. That one, I thought those flowers, it's a synthetic fabric sample I got from the Reverse Art Truck. That's probably a bit more pinky, but I didn't know, maybe a bit of that. Some laces then in those sort of golden tones, which could sort of underlay a section. I particularly like that one. These were some of the sort of churchy things that I got at the de-stash market that someone has identified as being, yeah, sort of former religious items. I'll probably unstitch this purple across, but I thought this one might go on. My Nana and Grandpa were quite religious people, so I thought that could be a nice little, yeah, little memory piece. This little chook one, I think I'll put some of that fabric down with my mum's chooky section as well. Let me just move these off as well so that, oops. Some more lovely fabrics. I just love these banded ones because you can just use, yeah, sections of them. This one with the sort of French Indian inspired prints. So again, maybe some of that around the India piece for my Nana and Grandpa. This one has lovely vases of with birds and flowers illustrated on them. But I just, yeah, the tone's going to be really perfect for this piece. A fabric sample, it's got sort of grapes and yeah, grapevines, so that could be good again if I want to do something else for Max and Ellie on this piece. Just again, I think the perfect sort of, yeah, tones, not so much the blues, but the these ones here. A lovely toile with little dancing, so again that could go nicely with my own. So I might put some of that near this piece, or even have it in the background of this piece. That was another piece, wasn't it, of what we already looked at. And then another lovely fabric that's in a really great colour. Not just another good one. Oh, this is the one that I've already got a piece for my mum, so I'll put that one to the side. This one, don't know if it's a bit too pinky, but I thought maybe some sections of it could be nice. I'm not sure if it will fray too much if I try and cut sections. It might be okay actually. It looks like it's got some sort of backing on it. I've then got I've got this lovely fabric, got this little bit of trim. I've got some more smaller bits of various bits of fabric here. That was the one that I used as the base for my grandpa's. I've got some beautiful William Morris fabrics scraps that I got, so they may end up featuring either on this side or also maybe on the back as well. I've got various bits of lace and things, and these are great to coffee dye or tea dye because they'll often take on a really beautiful colour, so I would need to do that with them if I was to use them. So I might pop those up there, and they might be into a batch of tea next up. I've got some tulle. I might dye that as well actually. And this one I might dye as well. It's a little ribbon embroidery heart, but I think I'd need to turn that a bit more tea coloured. And then I've got these ones which I cut into periodically, but I might tea dye those. I don't know if I've tried tea dyeing these before, and they don't take on as much colour because they're a synthetic. This one I think I'll tea dye as well. It's a sweet little doily. It's got a hole in it, but that doesn't worry me. But it says care on it, so I thought I'd, yeah, and I just think it's very, very sweet. So I'll tea dye that. And then I've got a whole stack. Let me move the fabrics out of the way for a seckie. These fabrics over here, I've got a whole stack of laces and doilies. So this one again could be lovely. I wonder if I should tea dye that. Might leave that one for now. But just lots of lovely little doilies that can be used as backgrounds. Some of them I've already cut into, but I can cut more elements out of them. Can you hear the kookaburra laughing? It's having a real laugh. This one I've already cut into. But yeah, I've just got a wealth of these to be able to kind of intersperse. This one I've probably already nibbled out of, but I can nibble out of it a bit more. This would have been, I think, a little collar or something. Some beautiful ones if I want to do some more quotes or anything. They can be really great to stitch into. Just brought a variety, particularly the sort of, the smaller ones. Some of these I'll want to put on in their entirety. All different shapes. Again, these ones are great if you just want to put something sort of in the centre as a focal point. Likewise, that one. So yeah, great way I can just add those sort of elements to the background. Again, I love these little ones with the little flowers that sort of sit up off the piece. That's a beautiful centre. This is, I think, some of that lace actually that I have tea dyed, so maybe I don't need to tea dye that other piece. This one's beautiful. It's got a face in it, so this one I think will go on in its entirety somewhere. A beautiful old bit of handmade lace. I'll definitely be putting that on. In fact, I'll keep that out specially and find a place to honour that. Beautiful little doily. Another nice little small one. Almost like a spider web, that one. This is a sweet little one with little angels, little cherubs. Which way up? That way up, I think. That way up. Trying to work out which way up they go. Oh, that way. There they are. Flying sort of up that way. This one's probably too pink, so I think I'll keep that out. That's another lovely bit of the tea dyed lace. A beautiful runner if I want to have something sort of sitting in the centre of that. Some other bits of linen, some bits of lace, some more doilies. This one could be nice to put on in its entirety, possibly down near my mum with the garden one, so I'll put that over there. Some sweet little ones, and isn't this beautiful vintage one again with the little raised up flowers on it. So that's a bunch of doilies. Some more fabrics. No, one more doily out of here. And I got this today at the op shop. I've actually just been cutting it out. It's a little flower stitched into like a meshy sort of thing, but I thought that could go somewhere on the piece. I've got this beautiful doily in the shape of a leaf. This lovely little sort of applique that I think could be delightful to put somewhere. Don't know whether I might give that a quick tea drop as well. And then some other fabrics. This one I might put a little bit of this with the horsey thing for my brother and sister-in-law and nieces and nephews. Some more fabrics that might be good to use. A sort of French inspired. Again, that's got that sort of French look to it. And likewise this one. Some more beautiful toile. That's some of the same toile that I used, I think. Oh, is it? No. Different toile. This one again is sort of French and fashion inspired, so maybe another lovely little doily. That could be a bit too pinky, I think, so I might take that out of the mix. And then this one, which I've already used some of that on my Nana's little panel. So that is those. And then I have some bowls of trims and some boxes of buttons. So I might just need to move you up a smidge. Move you up and angle you back in the correct direction. So I threw this one over there before. I won't go through everything, but I've just got a whole lot of yummy vintage trims and other things, laces, braids, all sorts of beautiful Swiss vintage white cotton embroidery, Swiss, lovely bits of vintage lace work, some more newer laces, but I can again tea dye some of these. Again, just beautiful little bits. Oh, that's a bit of fabric from one of my like feed sack type fabrics. So yeah, lots of fun. I think I might put some of this tassel along the bottom because or along the top. It's just super fun. Hessian with lace on it. So that's one bundle, and then in fact I'll put that little cotton roll over with my cottons, I think. Again, putting some of these like lovely beady pieces along the bottom. But yeah, again, just got a whole wealth of lovely. This is a very heavy metallic trim, but it'd be lovely to put some of that on. I'll put these with my buttons, these little beautiful little buttons, beautiful brown trim, and just lots of lovely laces, quite old laces, lovely lace motifs, tiny little doilies. So lots to use here and to decorate the piece. Oh, that's some of that lovely measuring tape. Even some quite fancy trims, little cut off bits of doilies, so I'll really be able to have fun with those. And then finally, I've just bought a selection of buttons. I have a lot more at home, but these are kind of picked out in some of the colours. Some of them aren't. The colours like these are ones are black, but I think I can probably have some of them. I'm going to have my beautiful Travis boy on the piece. But yeah, just lots of lovely buttons to ponder. Maybe that could go on, because my granny did, on my dad's side, always had quite ornate rings on as well, so I might put that over for her section. And then, yeah, lots more in here. Beautiful vintage ones. All sorts of loveliness, but trying to sort of pick them out in, oh, that one's lovely. I think I will put that one. It's a pendant, but I got that at an op shop. Another one of an A and C. Oh, they're little sequins. I'll put them over on my trolley instead. But these were some of my Nana's beautiful buttons as well. So yeah, I will make my way through here, and oh, a little bead could be lovely to put on my dad's piece as well. So that might be enough to show you for today. So I think first up I'll stitch down the top lace onto the fabric, onto the blanket, because then I'll have the whole canvas for the front ready for me. And then I think tonight I'll start pinning some more things in place and working out sort of placement for them. Then I'll kind of know which of the pieces that fit on. I need to leave a place for Travis's portrait. And I'll try and remember to include a link to that video if you want to check out the thread painting I did of Travis the Labrador. But thanks so much for watching, and hopefully that's maybe given you some inspiration. I'm super excited about it. I will let you know in due course my plans for it, but I first of all need to get it done. Thanks for watching, take care, and I hope you're having a good stitchy day. Bye everyone.